Hello everyone, I'm back with another review relatively soon after the previous video I did. I know that's not normally the way that I do things, but here we are, and if I keep this up, I'm going to have to get an actual video camera instead of just always using my phone. So this is a different type of review than I normally do. This is actually just for a set of watch bands, but I thought that I would do this because I didn't see much. I didn't see many reviews about bands when I was looking around, and it's not something I thought I would need in the first place. I recently got this Samsung Galaxy 3 smartwatch, and really, I didn't even want a smartwatch. I mean, what a dumb idea. I've got a phone that does everything I need it to do. What did I need a watch for? Well, it turns out that I have atrial fibrillation, and I've had it for a long time. And so I thought the built-in ECG, the electrocardiogram feature that it had, might be useful. And actually, it's a pretty nice thing. It measures your heart rate quite accurately. And in fact, when I was in the emergency room because of atrial fibrillation not too long ago, I checked it against the actual measurements that were being taken by a 12-point ECG, and it was very close. It's not so good at detecting actual atrial fibrillation, but I'm hoping it comes into its own there. It will even transfer the data once you've taken a heart reading straight to your phone, and you can then share that with your doctor or do whatever you want to do. So I thought that might be a nice feature, especially when I had a bad attack of it recently. The weird thing is that I actually found the watch then to be very useful for other reasons. I've come to really rely on it. I can check text messages and see who it is that's calling me and accept the call or not accept the call. It will alert me when I've got an appointment coming up. It's synced with my calendar. It's got some health benefits to it. You know, you can measure how many steps you've taken, how many calories you've burned. And there's just a lot that it does. You can check emails with it. I mean, it turns out to be very functional. And much to my surprise, I have actually found that I've become somewhat dependent on it. I use it a lot, and I find it incredibly convenient. So once I started to get into that, I thought, well, maybe I ought to see what kinds of watch bands there are out there in case, you know, I want to take it on a hike or take it on a run, something I never do, but now maybe I'll have to start because I've got this watch that can measure all of these dimensions while I'm doing that. I actually like the band that came with the watch. If we look here, it's a nice leather band. It's actual leather with stitching. There's the face. The always-on display doesn't work so well. There it is. That's the always-on display. And, you know, actually, before I go on with the band, I'll say that I even had a lot of fun with the various watch faces that it had. I've even paid for a couple of them. I have a whole bunch of them now. But here, just look at this one. How can you go wrong with this, huh? Wait for it. Wait for it. There it is, huh? Even with the skull on the back. That is nifty. But I'm going to put it back on the one that it had. There we go. Yeah. Some of these are really remarkable. Some of the watch faces it has is really incredible. But anyway, back to the band. I actually like the band. It's a nice leather band. It's got nice stitching on it. Feels good, but I did want to see what else was out there. And watch band reviews aren't something that you see a lot of. So I wanted to see what I can find. And as I was researching the various watch bands, that were out there, one company I kept coming back to was this one, Barton, which is actually, it's not my last name, but it is a last name from my heritage. So that was just kind of a nifty thing as well. So I kept coming back to it. I kept finding their name in my lists, and I was looking at some other ones, and it turns out that Barton actually has a lot of bands for many different watches. They have many different types, many different materials, many different colors. They've got nylon ones and leather ones, and they have some fabric ones. And I especially wanted to give them credit for what they call their gaucho line. I'm a big fan of the Southwest style and Southwest art, something I've inherited from my parents. And so I'm definitely going to have to invest in one of those. They even have sort of a black and orange one, which is important, and I'm going to say why in just a moment. So that was a really interesting thing to see. So I decided to get this one. This is a silicone black and orange one. It's orange on top and black on the bottom. This is a black band with orange stitching. I'm a big fan of black and orange. I mean, in my previous video, I mentioned that I like the fact that the teal went so well with the black, but really anything goes with black, right? All colors, even pastels that I hate, go with black. So you really can't go wrong here, but I'm also a big fan of Halloween. I keep my decorations out all year long, at least inside the house anyway. And so I'm obviously a big fan of black and orange, and that's why I chose the ones that I did. So, I couldn't help but notice that the silicone one comes in a package that looks like it's a freeze-dried meal for, going into outer space with astronauts, and the leather one came in a relatively nice box. It's not that big of a deal, but I did notice that that's how it went. The other thing I'll say is switching out the band on the Galaxy Watch. Hey, there's the sensor. Switching out the band on the Galaxy Watch really is easy to do. All you have to do is, if you look here, there's this little thing right here. Just slide it to the side and pop out the band, and there it is. And that's all that you have to do. Very easy. So let's open these up and see how they look, see how they fit, see how they feel. The first one is a silicone one. Remember, this is the black and orange one that I got in the freeze-dried case. I actually had to get the scissors out and cut that guy open. I thought that it was going to have like a little place where you could just tear it off. Not at all. This really was meant to go out into outer space with the astronauts. So I'll take that out. It's very, very smooth on the back. Very smooth on the back, but has a really nice texture on the top. I don't know how well there it was, sort of. There we go. Very smooth on the back, very nice texture on the top. And then I will assume that's the same for the side with the buckle, and it looks like it is. Now, there are two separate lengths it comes with, as you can see. That's really nice. I don't know which one I ought to use, so I will compare it to the one that I already had, which fit fine. It's not like I'm some professional wrestler size person. So, all right, that seems to be the best one. So I will just attach it here. It's got the exact same little thing there that you can use to put it on your watch. So we will pop this guy in here, and we'll pop this guy in here. You do have to make sure they're aligned properly. But there we go. Perfect. And then I will pop off this other one, which is very easy to do. Look at that. Jeez, oh man. And then, oh, look at this guy trying to hitch a ride. Get out of there. And then we will pop this guy on. I think I put it on right. If I didn't, we're going to find out soon enough. Get this guy there. Actually, let me move it around here where I can get a better grip on it. There we go. And there we are. Here's how it looks. Phew, man, look at that. Whoops, let's get back to the screen. Okay. It really feels nice, though. It's very flexible. I thought it was going to be very stiff, but it's not. It's actually very malleable, very bendable, and I would assume fits on the wrist pretty well, but we'll see. Again, I'm not like a huge guy, so my wrists aren't enormous, so I'm going to buckle it up. Let's see how it fits. So here we are. It actually feels very nice, and I've cranked it down a little tighter on my wrist than I probably should have. But the reason I was able to do that is because the band is actually very flexible. It's very bendable. And so unlike on the other one, on my standard band that came with the watch, I could crank the band down to the third hole. This one on the fourth hole is still pretty tight around my wrist. But I was actually able to pull on the thing a little bit and move it down to that fourth hole because the band itself has some stretch to it. And I really like that. That makes it feel very comfortable. And because it's so smooth on the underside and textured on the top, but because it's so smooth on the underside, it actually feels very nice on my wrist. It doesn't feel like it's on there too tight. The strap is actually so flexible that it was a little difficult to get it through this second loop right here. But I did eventually do it, and it fits very snug. Now, you might be thinking that that's a little too tight to have it on my wrist, and it probably is for all the time wearing. But if you're going to be taking your heart rate, which I do, then you actually want it to be very snug against the top of your wrist so that you can get an accurate reading. So it actually feels very nice. Even though it's so snug, it doesn't feel tight, and that's because there's some stretch to it. The orange is incredibly bright. It's very noticeable. It's set off by the black underneath. You can see a little bit of it right there. It's set off by the black underneath, and it's just got a very nice look to it. It really accentuates the chrome in the black that's on the top of the watch. So it really feels nice. It looks nice. It was easy to put on. It's got some stretch, so you can adjust a little bit even past where the holes are. You know, so if you can't quite get it to that next hole in the strap, then you can just pull on it a little bit and stretch it out a little, and you'll be able to get it there. So it really feels good. It feels nice, and I'm actually quite happy with it. Just from my very first impressions, just from having put it on right now. So colorful, well made, seems very durable. It doesn't seem cheap. It doesn't seem flimsy. It doesn't seem like it would fall apart. Nothing like that. It clipped to the watch very well, and it feels good. So that's what I can tell you about this particular band. We'll get to the other one in just a moment. But that's what I can tell you about this particular one so far, but only after, you know, having had it on my wrist for about 3 minutes. But I really do like it, and I can see myself using this. So let's take that off, and I don't know what the deal is with this opening here on the end. I assume it's there for something. I'm not sure what. If anybody knows, you're welcome to tell me. And so geez. It does get hot in here when I'm filming these. I usually have a fan on, but I'm not doing that because the microphone will really pick it up. So the leather one I got comes in this very nice box. Hey, here's teal and black again, just like with the MX keys from my previous video. And here you can see this is an actual leather one. It only comes with one size of this part of the strap, unlike the previous one. But this is black with orange stitching. And I mean, I love this color scheme, the black and the orange on top and the black on back. They've got an opposite one, by the way, with the black on top and the orange on the bottom. But this is leather with orange stitching. And I have to say, I love this. But remember, I'm a big fan of black and orange. Really black and anything, but black and orange looks very, very nice. All right, so right off the bat, I'm going to compare the length of the two straps. They are very similar. Good, so this one should work out great. And there it is, all set up. Whoops, let's switch that off. Now, I have to say that this one was a little harder to attach. And the reason it was harder to attach is because the underlying little metal thing in here that actually attaches into the holes on either side, the strap slid around on that thing. So it would disappear into the strap on this side when I'm holding this in, or this side would disappear. And I really had to finagle the strap to get it to work out right. And the same was true on this side. I did eventually get it in there. It wasn't like, you know, it was some insurmountable thing. But, you know, just be aware that this strap was a little more difficult to attach than the previous one. But now that it is attached, we can come over here, and as you can see, it looks very nice, similar to the strap. Look how beat up that is. Similar to the strap that came with the watch, which was also an actual leather strap. So this has the orange stitching, and again, just like with the previous one, the black and orange one, they have many different colors. You can get this with red stitching and white stitching and blue stitching and green stitching and all kinds of stitching. And so that's what it looks like, and I love it, especially because I'm a big fan of the combination of black and orange. But I will put it on the wrist and let's see how it fits. So here we are. This one fits very snugly as well. I had to crank it a little bit to get it to that hole right there, but this one also goes to the fourth hole, just like the black and orange one that we talked about earlier. It's got a nice stiff feel, as leather should. Both of the straps have stainless steel buckles on them. This is actual leather. It is snug. It doesn't feel like the strap is going to pop off either from the watch or from my wrist. It fits nice. And again, this is just on my wrist, so your mileage will vary based on the size of your own. But it feels very nice. It feels snug. The watch isn't going to move on my wrist at all. My understanding is that some people actually like to have it more loose. But again, because I use it to take heart readings, I like to have it more snug. And so it may look like it's tight, and it is a little bit. But at the same time, That's not just the way I like it, but the way I need it if I have to suddenly take a measurement, whether I'm just interested or whether I feel a fibrillation coming on. So it's actual leather. I love the look of all black, the black buckle, the black straps, the black leather with the orange stripe, with the orange stitching, I mean, and fits very snug. I'm actually very happy with this one also. I think it maintains the classy look. It accentuates the design of the watch itself without overwhelming it, as this one does. This one draws attention to the strap, but this strap actually complements the watch itself. So I really like it. I'm really happy with both of them. I'm happy with the way they fit. I'm happy with how easy they were to attach. I'm happy with the sense of durability that they have, of the strength of the bands themselves. They both fit nice. This one has some flexibility to it. This one is more rigid, but that's what you'd expect with a silicone band versus a leather band. So they fit very nice. I mean, I know they're just watch bands, but you do want to take into consideration whether or not they're going to tear, whether they fit appropriately into the watch when you swap them out, whether they're going to last. And again, this is just my initial impressions from just opening up the boxes now, but I'm quite happy with them, and I would be tempted to order more. The Gaucho is going to come next, I got to be honest, and I think you probably all figured that out when I was talking about it. But at the same time, I can honestly really recommend these, at least just from my initial experiences. If anything changes, as is normally the case, then I will make another video and I will update what my experience has been. But as of right now, I'm very happy with them, and these were the Barton Watch Bands. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.